Welcome to another edition of Pittsburgh Sports Line. Thanks for watching the show on 32. That's Verizon 32 in Bethel, Comcast 7 in Bethel, and everybody else out in the area. From all the people, if I forget your names, you know I've seen you lately, and you said what a great show it is, especially with Little Z, Smoking Jim Frazier. Chip the Prophet Hayner is back. He was eating so much lobster, he didn't bring anything back for us, and he said he was bathing in
my flesh-colored icebox.
And I'm Al Levine, the talking machine, and we always start the show with what's on our mind. So I'm going to start out with Little Z. Welcome aboard here, Little Z, tonight. He's auditioning for Big Mike's position on the show. Big Mike is traveling. He's now a sheriff. He's involved in a lot of other endeavors. Big Mike, if you're watching the show, which I know you are, have a great evening. You take care, buddy. It was a pleasure working with you. You're invited up to Sips Sports Bar anytime. Give us a guest appearance.
Oh, I thought he was joining the RCMP, the Royal Canadian Mounted Police.
He always gets his men. We'll have to check that out. Well, Little Z, what's on your mind? And you could ask little Mini-Me Z, because he always follows him around.
Well, since I get to go first, I'm going to beat Chip to the Pirates tonight. And my main question tonight as we get ready to head into the All-Star break is, can these arms hold up down the stretch, and will they fade? So basically what my question is Garrett Cole going to be back up in the rotation before after the All-Star break, and are we going to have another monumental collapse because Smoking Jim seems to be convinced that the wheels are going to fall off the bus.
Hey, don't promote his other thing where he's talking sports and that, you know? So don't do that. Heaven forbid if he gets 200 comments again on one of his subjects. But
he just might. But yeah, that's what's on my mind. The Pirates' starting rotation, are those arms going to hold up down the stretch? And are we going to end this 20 years of futility? Because it dates all the way back to 1992, since Sid Bream slid across the plate and the Braves won. That, you know, I know Chip knows.
That laser left arm of Barry Bonds.
You know, and that's another thing. That's another sadful thing, too, that Barry Bonds left the Pirates and then started to juice when he got to San Fran. You know, he might have got that ball a little bit closer.
Must have been in the water or something like that.
It didn't make his arm any better. It made his vision and bat speed were super, and he could power the ball out of there. But look how many MVPs he had. So, hey, when your ego gets in the way, look what happens. And his head size did swell a few sizes before the steroids or the cream. All right, Little Z, we'll have to revisit some of those because they're hot subjects with us, no doubt. Now, Smoking Jim Frazier, what's on your mind?
Hey, thanks, Al Levine, the talking machine. And if you want the green,
oh, man, where's the pen?
You got to see Levine.
Hold it, Seagull.
And hey, my spotlight player of the week this week, I'm going to the Pittsburgh Steelers' third round. I actually love to pick Marcus Wheaton, a wide receiver from Oregon State. Not a very big guy, only 5'11", 190 pounds. He got underrated speed. He was ran track for Oregon State, ran the 60 meters, the 100 meters, the 200 meters, and he specialized in the 400 meters. He ran that in 47 seconds. So that's low flying. Runs a 40 and 4.3. He's not as fast as Mike Wallace, but he'll be able to run fast consistently because of his track experience. Got great hands. Going to immediately, I believe, be the third receiver for the Pittsburgh Steelers or in their four receiver package. He's going to be a favorite. He's going to be a hard-working guy for Big Ben. And he's super strong for his size. That's 20 reps at 225 pounds, which is really incredible for a guy only 190 pounds. So my spotlight player of the week I actually like. Plus he can give you some time in the return game if they want to, and punt and kickoff returns, is Marcus Wheaton. I think the Steeler fans going to like him.
Well, thanks, Smoking Jim. It's nice to hear something positive coming out of you.
I'm so blown away. I have nothing to say.
Little Z didn't even make a comment on that.
He's a beaver, not a rabbit.
Well, on that, again, folks, these are all the opinions of everybody up here. So call us at 412-831-3304 here. Chip, since you've been away for a week, we're just going to have a whole segment on what's on your mind, buddy.
What's on my mind? It's great to be back here with your future Hall of Famer here to my left.
I heard that.
Smoking Jim and Al Levine, our talking machine. But what's on my mind is hypocrisy. And I think it's kind of funny. And if anybody has been following the events that are going on in the NFL as of late, of course, the number one story across the news pages is about the Aaron Hernandez.
Who?
A former tight end for the New England Patriots. And I love what Mr. Robert Kraft made a comment saying yesterday. He said that Aaron Hernandez had them all duped. Duped. Okay, he had them duped. Now, let me just, let's wind back a little bit to when he was in college. His final year in college, among other things, he was elected the John Mackey Award winner as the best tight end in America. So going into the draft, he's the number one rated tight end. And he stuck around until the fourth round. Okay? A number of other tight ends were selected before him. And why was this? Well, because he had a history of gang-related activity when he was in high school. He tested positive for drugs a number of times while he was at the University of Florida. He even was involved in being questioned about a murder while he was in college. He had a history of, let's say, less than stellar behavior. So all of the rest of the NFL teams left him, chose not to draft him, even though he was the number one rated tight end. And that's why Mr. Kraft saw him in the fourth round, and Bill Belichick. He saw him in the fourth round, and they decided to select him, not because they were worried about whether or not they were picking somebody with a high level of moral character, but they looked at somebody that could help them to win football games. So, Mr. Kraft, when you say that you were duped, quit trying to dupe us. We can see through that. Your main objective is to win, and to win at all costs. And and that's the NFL that we live. We love and enjoy. Look at the Steelers did the same thing. Look who they drafted last year, Alameda Tiamu. Well, let me see. He had a past history of drinking and driving, and then that came through. Chris Rainey, he had a history of domestic violence, and that seemed to hold true. But it
What
didn't
about
matter.
Santonio Holmes?
As long as these people can help you to win, you don't care what they do. You just hope they don't get caught while he's under contract with you. And on my closing thought here, because I am a true Blues Pittsburgh Steelers fan, and I just love to take shots at the Cleveland Browns whenever I can. But a Cleveland Brown fan just recently passed away. Okay, he passed away, and in his last wishes, he requested to have 6 Cleveland Browns be pallbearers at his funeral. And the reason was so they could let him down one more time before he's.
Really? True story.
Yeah,
They gave him a custom
part
jersey.
about this is, okay, that this just shows you what Cleveland Brown fans are really, truly about. The Browns took him up on his offer, but they didn't give him the 6 pallbearers. They decided, well, we'll give him a jersey, to be buried with him, and they had it specialized for him. And they asked his family, who was your favorite Cleveland Browns? So, you think about the all-time greats of the Cleveland Browns.
How about Jim
think
Brown?
about Hall of Famers. There's Jim Brown. There's Otto Graham. Otto Graham won about 6 world championships when he was. But who does he pick?
Vinny
Another
Testaverde.
Hall of Famer, Lou the Toe Groza. He was an offensive lineman that kicked straight on. So, that just shows you where the Cleveland Browns.
You mean the mentality of
it. So that's what's on my mind. So there you go, Alan.
Thanks, Chip.
Welcome back.
Yeah, welcome back here. Very good. On that, so I can gather my thoughts after all this, we'll go with something I know about. Chris, I don't know if you can get this with the other camera. We got Chris here on camera. He's excellent. Even though he's from South Park, he does a great job here in Bethel Park. I give a shout out to him. Since we had South Park guys and Munhall guys last night at Sips.
Gateway guys.
Oh, we always have Gateway. So.
Yeah, their latest football recruit.
He's 10 years old.
And this is the North American Unicycling Convention and Competition. And we're going to head out there. That's the week of July 21st to 27th. I just posted on Pittsburgh Sportsline on Facebook that they are getting some more sponsors and everything. If you want to sponsor it, you're welcome to do it. Then we got this event in Bethel Park coming up, July 28th, South Park Fairgrounds, the Pasta 2, the 5th annual Pasta 2 Rev 'em Up for Kids, best car cruise of the season. Starts at 11 o'clock on Sunday till 6, $5 a car, $5 for spectators. And there may be announcers there. I might be announcing Smoking Jim if he can get out to the neighborhood.
I'll be
He'll
there.
be welcome.
Is that Sunday?
That's a Sunday.
Oh, I thought it was a Saturday. That'd have been
No,
there anyway.
I saw you had a post on something, and I didn't correct you because you're my friend out there. And
I think I might try to limp my hoopty in, belching smoke, and it is a car
well,
cruise.
come on in. Come on in. If you get 200,000 miles on a vehicle, bring it in. And then since Little Z brought up about the Pirates, I'm still drinking that Kool-Aid. Cole will be in the, depending on what he does tonight, I think he'll be there after the All-Star pitching. I mean, he set a record in, what was it, like 105 years, first Pirate pitcher since about 1905 to win his first 4 games that he started.
Let's not forget about
So, I mean, these are
Jeff
some
Locke,
good
too.
things there. We're going to revisit in a second. I want to, before we revisit, my man brought up about Hernandez. I've been keeping quiet on it because it's, who knows, when you're talking serial killer with football player, I mean, those are nasty things. We try to have positive things. So now, here's the wisdom of the NFL and the New England Patriots. Bring in your Hernandez jerseys, and you can exchange them for the same value. So do they let them exchange it for, who's your player, Smoking Jim? Tebow. They won't let them exchange a Hernandez jersey for Tebow and other players.
Really?
So to me, this is all a goodwill promotion type of thing. So why wouldn't you let these Hernandez jersey people who now hate him because they found out all those lies that they heard, he may be a serial killer. So why can't you have a Tebow jersey because you're a Patriot fan? Can you imagine the stands when you got Smoking Jim Frazier, because he got Hernandez jerseys, you know. He was scouting them. He would have had 20 Tebow. Now, he really doesn't have them, folks, but he could get them, and he would exchange them. He'd travel to get.
He got 20 Terrell Pryor jerseys.
Well, we know that, and he got all the tats, all the original tat artwork. So he does.
some
No, he
more,
doesn't
too.
have it. He has them all designed. But can you imagine that they had so much goodwill for that, and you can't exchange it for Tebow? And that's what's on my mind. If you want to revisit it, because I was trying to get you going on a couple things, so let's go. Anybody?
Well, I was almost positive that they were exchanging them for Tom Brady jerseys and stuff like that. So, I mean, Tom Brady's jersey is going to be worth a lot more than Tim Tebow's. So, why would you even want a Tim Tebow jersey, really?
Why would you even want Tim
and he's
Tebow?
another Florida Gator that is.
Why would you want
This
Tim
is part
Tebow?
of why we have TV. I wanted some conversation on the subject because we have some Tebow fans in the area and the world. I mean, they like him as a person.
Hey,
So
listen, that man scored a touchdown in a high school game on a broken leg. So, and that's a proven fact. You can watch it on YouTube. So the kid, nobody ever questioned the kid's heart. We just questioned the kid's arm. And when Smoking Jim is given an honest evaluation of talent, I mean, he did burn us in the playoffs with the Broncos. But I just think that was just because our secondary was just overmatched.
do you think it was just a coincidence?
Well, it was Willie Gay when we needed him.
There was a stone-handed guy out there, though. That's what happened. One of the stone-handed gentlemen was out there when that happened. No, you're right with the Brady or whatever. I don't know if they're allowed to do it with Brady.
No, I know they were exchanging.
Oh,
Brady
okay.
was one of the highest ones that everybody was exchanging for. And then there was like a tight end, or there were the other tight ends, and then Niskovich, a linebacker.
Right.
So, but I guess Tebow wasn't allowed.
I know, but why wouldn't you? Who would care?
Well, because they're going to make a lot more money selling the Tebow jerseys because they've already the market's already saturated with Brady jerseys. You know, you're not going to sell as many of those.
There's the business point here from
Well, you know
the
what
profit.
I mean. You know, Tebow.
No profit there,
Tebow
he said.
"Hey, did anybody see the YouTube clip of Rex the Mouth Ryan?
No,
with
I
the
missed it.
running with the Bulls in Pamplona." It's must see TV.
Wow.
Instead of working on trying to right the ship there in New York, you got Mark Sanchez out there dancing around and acting like a fool, dancing naked.
What about Geno Smith? They got Geno Smith up there.
Oh yeah, he's another future Hall of Famer.
Oh, we got the NFL.
He fired his
scout here,
agent
so
because he didn't get drafted in the first round.
Anytime I can get Mr. Fiction and Fact on the record about one of these NFL pros,
Hold it. This fiction and fact will be coming. Don't worry. Anything else you want to revisit in this segment here? Since we brought out Pirates,
Oh yeah, I was talking about Jeff Locke. If we're gonna give Garrett Cole some praise, we got to give Jeff Locke some
Oh,
praise.
you got to
He's
give a
dating
shout
too.
out to Jeff Locke. I'll tell you what, last night, it's funny because, I watched a fair portion of the game.
During the
And
show.
A lot of people watched, a good portion of the game, and you get somebody like, I like to give them props and mention their
Go
names,
ahead.
but a certain announcer on the radio last night said that Jeff Locke really didn't pitch a very good game. Well, let me just clue you in on something. He pitched a 3-hitter, okay? He gave up
I'm with you, Tim.
He gave up one earned run. Now the run that put Oakland up 1-0. Ball got away from Russell Martin. He threw the ball down there, beat the runner to third. Pedro Alvarez caught it and tagged, and he swept his glove through like this, and then the guy's foot slid in after him. The ball was there. That was an error on Pedro's fault, which of course they gave the error to the catcher.
Right.
But the guy gives up 2 runs. Pitches 7 solid innings. I'm going to tell you what, you got a starting pitcher that's going to give you up 2 runs. You're going to win a lot more ball games than you're going to lose. He pitched a great game last night. Jeff Locke is really
Locked
coming
in.
into
He has
his
a
He's locked in, I'm
2.15
telling you.
ERA. That's pretty good in
he's
baseball.
he's really learning how to,
2-1-2 it was before he started the game.
He's really learning his craft, and the funny thing is that he's learning how to pitch when he doesn't have his good stuff, and that's the mark of a good pitcher. One of the things that you mentioned Jarrett Cole, and Jarrett Cole's going up tonight. He's already on the mound, against the Oakland A's, weather permitting. And one of the things, Jarrett Cole started out 4-0, and then he finally got roughed up a little bit, lost one game. And, one of the things that he's really not doing, and this makes people question whether or not he was brought up too soon, is that he's not really blowing away batters. He's got the highest number of hits. I mean, his whip is the highest of anybody on the staff, and the whip is walks and hits per innings pitched. He, giving up a lot of hits. People are hitting the ball hard. He's not striking out a lot of batters right now. And basically, when he was in UCLA, he had a slider that's a really nasty slider. It's his out pitch. And what he's doing now is he's pretty much doing nothing but throwing fastballs. And I'm going to tell you something. If he doesn't start mixing it up with some off-speed pitches, I don't care how many 100-mile-an-hour fastballs you throw, Major League batters are going to catch up to him, and they're going to rough him up. But here's another guy that's going to learn how to pitch. I mean, he knows how to throw.
I think on that same line that they're restricting some of what he's doing for the simple fact he has good control with his fastball. Mm-hmm. So if you're a batter, all you do is time it. We've all watched that. You see the guys up there watching and swinging, and there's not much movement on a fastball. If it's 100 miles per hour or 90, I'll take a 90-mile-per-hour fastball that moves.
Well,
and that's one of the differences, and they're hitting. He's given up a ton of hits, but his control is, very good right now.
Well, I tell you what, to equate what I'm talking about, Nolan Ryan, Hall of Famer, over 300 wins, over 5,000 strikeouts and everything. In the early part of his career, he was all over the place. He threw the ball 100 miles an hour. It may have ended up in the stands behind him. It could have ended up behind the batter on the other side of the batter. And as he got older, he learned how to pitch.
Sure.
And and you've got that heat, and it's something that's going to take time for him to do. And I think he's on the right track. But I wouldn't be too surprised to see him sent back down. And I know that might cause a lot of people to say, "Oh my goodness, why?" But you know what?
They might bring out the
better
money
minds
thing.
than ours are watching his progress, and I'm going to trust them because they seem to be got everything moving in the right direction now.
Well, we'll see what happens. I think he should be like Sandy Koufax a little bit. You hit a few guys, you hit your own guys because the ball's everywhere. Look, when he was up for 4 years, he couldn't hit the plate. Finally, he settled down, and look at the Hall of Fame career since we're talking Hall of
I never
Famers.
knew that till you told me that last
For the
Yeah.
record, they're 18 games over 500 going into the ninth game, so we got to keep tuned to that.
Well, 53 wins I think it was like 4 or 5 years ago. What did they have, about 55 wins
No,
or
they
57?
had 56 wins
Yeah,
in
I mean
2010.
that was in
the
a
season.
so that was 3 years ago,
And by the way,
and they didn't usually fold.
They've
like
been on a
they did.
20-year plan.
Yeah, but there's differences, and one of my friends is putting all this stuff up on Facebook. They've only had this collapse the last 2 years. They only had one run, I think it was in '97, when they looked like a team that could make, playoffs or something. So they didn't have the El Foldo here come up all the time. But they do now, and the players have seen it for 2 years.
well,
So we'll see what happens
And I
here.
think we do have all the pieces that we need to play. I mean, there are some players on that team right now that are underachieving, and I'll name a few of them if I must. But Garrett Jones, last year, I had 27 home runs, very high RBI total. And he's not hitting like we know that he's capable of doing, and that's something I believe he'll work out. Neil Walker was just starting to get hot before he injured his
That's the leader of the team.
side.
to me.
His oblique is in trouble.
And I'm telling you what, Neil Walker was sadly missed last September, and if he's injured, they need to put him on the disabled list now. There's 5 days that will count against the disabled list where we won't be playing games. So he'd only miss 10 games because there's 4 days off for the All-Star game, and they have a day off this week. So, I mean, get him healthy because that's somebody that we're going to need for the stretch run if the Pirates are going to win. Because I do believe that Neil Walker is the heart and soul of that team.
He proved it last year. Well, that's our revisitation segment. We went a little Pirate crazy, so we may revisit a little more Pirates in another segment, or not. We'll see how the conversation goes. Little Z says or not, but I may bring Pirates up again, so we shall see. That audition's not going well. That's an inside joke, fans. But, hey, Chief, don't miss the next few segments here. We're going to talk about Sips Sports Bar. We had a great show last night. A lot of great guests. It's always a great day to talk sports in Pittsburgh. We had one of our youngest guests who may be a future superstar, according to our scout. And Jalen Hood Shafino?
Yeah,
Shafino Hood.
Yeah, I call
Is it
Shafino
because
Hood.
somebody put up online that it was Shafino or Hood Shafino?
It might be.
So
I
we didn't
call
get your name straight on this, but he was just a super guest. For 10 years old, Smoking Jim was asking questions, and I double teamed him with more questions.
But the most impressive thing about Jalen is this young man got a 4.0 on his last report card in school.
Is that impressive?
Smoking Jim told
I'm
him.
going to tell you something. That's a testament to his parents because they're teaching him the right set of values and how important it is to get good education. So,
Well, when he
I tip
watches
my hat
this
to
show
them.
every week, Smoking Jim starts out with a man's 225-pound reps and their 40 speed. It's not.
many
He's never
degrees?
really talking about degrees or GPA when he's giving these scouting reports of these guys. So
But that's just Smoking Jim. That's his style, and he actually believes that's the truth. And he's all about homeschooling because every boxer he met should be homeschooled.
or no schooled.
Well, no, he believes in schooling. He just didn't tell you what they're being schooled on, except you got to do road work. And you start out, Little Z, the audition's going a lot better now. But hey, getting back to Sip Sports Bar, we had Alicia Sparks. She had some. She always gets the crowd going there.
And
she got
Jim.
a ton of fans. Well, that's his co-host on. What's your show coming up here?
Social Curve.
Social
TV.
Curve. You got to watch that when it comes out. I've seen a minute or two of it, folks. It is just awesome. When they put this show out, now they have a building and everything.
Supposedly they have a building and it needs some work, but we're waiting for the call.
If you don't like Brenner Contracting, do that now. Like anything, Chip needs a few more friends. If you're a friend of the show, Chief and everybody, friend, the Prophet here, you can find him under Chip Hayner. That's actually his name on Facebook.
Yes, it is.
Don't be afraid. Get him up to 100 at least. And Brenner Contracting, keep liking them. We're up to 350 likes on Pittsburgh Sportsline, so thanks everybody for doing that. We're trying to put our push on for 500, so we got a lot of heavy lifting Brenner Contracting to do. And Yeah, if you forgot about Brenner Contracting,
We haven't.
I did. I did. Did I mention that again? All right, here's the specials. Let me give a quick rundown on the specials. We talked about the great guests. Oh, don't forget about Matt, the voice, Sedlak. I'll tell you what, folks, this guy is already a great announcer, and the other talents we found out that he has from being a BMX rider that could have won events in a monsoon. But he has sciatica trouble, so we're gonna get. I gave him a chiropractor.
This man has a band too.
Yeah, he's
He
an
has a
underground
band. He draws
radio
comics.
announcer.
He's a graphic designer. I
Well,
mean, that
whatever
man
you
is-
do, don't keep them away from the caffeine.
He wasn't. I got a story for you. He doesn't
Since
need
we're on the
any
mad
caffeine.
subject,
He doesn't need any caffeine. That's when you see how jazzed up and how fired up he gets. As I get fired up for Brenner Contracting and Pittsburgh Sportsland, that man gets fired up for BMX.
And me, I just get fired up talking, whatever. But
I
anyhow,
agree.
he had water. I had to get him some water, and it calmed him down only for a couple seconds because he drank it.
But when you watch that video, when you watch the
That was the
video,
only time Al got a word in
Zips.
edgewise.
Thank
Smoking
you.
Jim Frazier is super interested on all the things that are BMX and South Park BMX. When you watch that playback, he was completely blown away with some of the facts that Matt Sedlak was bringing his
Hold
way.
it. The video's up. I don't want to take you away from the Pirate game or our show because I know you're flicking the remote control back and forth. But anyhow, Monday night is at Sips Sports Bar, Pittsburgh Sports Line. We're there every week, about 7:30. We start filming sometime after that, about an hour. Tuesday night is Campiti Pizza Night, 50 cents a slice.
Best pizza in the burg.
You heard it from Chip the Prophet Hayner.
Come on, Chip.
And then hey, this is one of the guys. He did give us a few coupons.
Donkey
He gave us some coupons for the pizza. We enjoyed it. 2 out of 3 people say it's the greatest. We don't know about the third guy. Ladies' night, Smoking Jim. They have a special. I was told by the owner and Tina, this is your special night.
All right.
$1 drinks for all the ladies that come to Sip Sports Bar. And another thing, there's happy hour starts every day at 4 o'clock. There's free parking every day after 4 o'clock, since I'm on the 4 o'clock. You got to find out. Across the street.
And there's a special drink recipe they have up there. It's called the Smoking Jim Teeny.
Is that served up by Brandini?
Shout out to Brandy and Kelly. Another great job. Now, as we continue through this, let me at least finish each night.
right, come on.
We're up to Thursday night, 25-cent wings. You know you'll see Smoking Jim and myself there. We do a double shift. He's
Will
on
you?
the early shift.
Batman and Robin?
Well, I'm no Robin because I stay around. I don't disappear. Batman's gone. And then Johnny Sarkis with karaoke on Friday night. Check it out. Big Jim, Smoking Jim's a big singer, so you'll see him there, I'm sure. Saturday night, they got the Good Guys, some rock and roll. Sunday, they have bar trivia. Chip's going to show up there so he can just stump them all. And they got drink specials and food specials every night. And that's it. I did my job on Sip Sports Bar. Be there. See you Monday night.
She wants the amp part dropped. She just wants to be referred to as Tina.
I don't know what
In
you're
case you
saying.
guys
She's
didn't know.
always Tina. Out in public, it's Tina. I don't care what Chaz Bonasort says or the busboy Mark says.
Upper St. Hazelwood.
Definitely. And now we go to one of the favorite segments. We got the little rookie here, little Z with Mini Me Z. They like this part. Fiction and Fact from Smoking Jim's Almanac.
Hey, thanks, Al Levine, the talking machine, and I tell you what, with the fiction and fact, I always got to bring in some visual proof because people weren't quite believing some of the fiction and facts. But it goes back a few years ago, and one of the guests that we had on the show at James Street, jazz place we used to do a live show, was starting Pittsburgh Steeler free safety Brent Alexander.
Wow.
He was on the show, but he wasn't the most important part of the show because I wasn't a very big Brent Alexander fan. But the guy that was most important on that particular show that night is a guy that, although the guy that he threw to, Larry Fitzgerald, Pitt is retiring his jersey, even though he only spent 2 seasons at Pitt and never got anywhere close to a degree. They're still retiring his jersey. But Rod Rutherford was on that show. Lightning Rod Rutherford right here. Brent Alexander here. Bill Neal, myself.
Look at that handsome guy on your left on the screen there, folks.
With a suit on.
I knew he had a suit. There was a rumor after I said he has suits. He corrected me. It was a suit.
But the one good thing is I really believe in 2004, if Rod Rutherford would have possibly been able to be in a different draft, that he would have been a first-round draft
Really?
choice. Don't forget now, in his senior year, he tied Dan Marino's record with 37 touchdown passes. He threw for a Pitt record 3,700 yards. He also was 6'3", 225, 230 pounds. But that particular year was the year that Big Ben, Eli, and Rivers came out. I still had Rod Rutherford in my publication going in the first round because I thought he was 10 times better than J.P. Loftman. That went to Buffalo Bills. That was the other team that needed a quarterback, and I said in my draft report that J.P. Loftman should have been a blonde because he's too dumb for all that dark hair. And he proved that when he went to Buffalo and was a washout. Rod Rutherford never got drafted, even though he could throw left-handed and right-handed, put up some great numbers. He's a coach now in college football, assistant coach, so he's working his way up through the ranks. But my fiction and fact this week is Lightning Rod Rutherford.
Thanks, Smoking Jim. I like the picture. Can
That's
I
a
keep
good one,
this?
man. Anytime it's not about Jeanette, it's a great fiction and fact. And I'm friends with Rod Rutherford, so I'm going to try to get him to call in and try to get him out the sips on Monday night.
There you go.
I'm a Pitt guy.
Good color picture.
Yeah, it is great color in that picture. I'm telling you.
Check out the shoes from Smoking Jim.
I did. That's why I said I had to see the picture.
And I see that
That looks like a future.
That's pre-Brazil.
Mugshot photo right there. Look at that's a future mugshot.
Yeah, that's Brent
Wait,
Alexander.
let me see that again.
That's a Aaron Hernandez.
Let me see that little. I didn't see the mugshot. I was checking the shoes out,
He was having a stare down with somebody.
and that's our friend Bill Neal there too.
That's what
Yeah,
Chip
yeah.
was a
said.
Bill
It's
Neal
exciting.
sighting. Yeah.
Yes, there was with Batman.
And that show had high television ratings, but I'm not sure which station it came on.
Oh,
if
really?
anybody ever seen
We're
it.
gonna research
Looks
that.
like he had some alligator shoes on. in that
Yeah,
picture.
brother.
Yeah, some
Snake
alligator
skin.
skins.
and not.
I think they were snake skin.
They weren't gateway gators either.
No, it was snake skin. They would not have a gator on there. I guarantee it. That's no pun intended there, but I guarantee it. And now we go to one of my favorites, Chip's Trivia Time. I can't wait to hear this because he's had over a week to come up with trivia. So get ready, folks.
Okay, thank you, Alan. Well, you know, one of the things I want to make a note of is one of the greatest records in all professional sports, and in my opinion, a record that never will be broken. Joe DiMaggio's 56-game hitting streak, and I believe it was last Thursday was when he broke the previous hitting streak record set by Wee Willie Keeler.
Yeah.
And it was set back in 1897, and that was 45 consecutive games. And you know, Joltin' Joe is, you know, his streak happened in 1941, and it happened over the course of one season. But you know, just some interesting major league records that have been the longest-standing records since 1900. And some of these records are pretty amazing. I'll go first with the pitching because, you know, we're never going to see. I believe that we're never going to see another 300-game winner. The way
It'll be hard.
the things go in the major leagues, but the career wins leader in the major leagues, the person that the award's named after, Cy Young, 511 wins.
Wow, you're
Okay,
kidding.
that was in his career. The lowest ERA for a starting pitcher in Major League Baseball was by a gentleman named Ed Walsh, and his career ERA was 1.82. Let me see what else we got here.
Could you have printed that any smaller?
I don't think I could have. I'm gonna have to talk to my
Were you
assistant.
saving ink?
Yeah.
She was saving ink for you. What the heck?
Well, yeah. There's
I'm trying to cheat on
you
that.
know the
It's like a
batting 400 in baseball is like the golden
I
mark.
stole
and
that. I
hasn't-
put that on there.
hasn't. But the career batting average, the batting average leader for one season, highest batting average ever in Major League Baseball, Nap LaJoy. His average was 426.
Nap.
Nap LaJoy did that in 1901.
426.
Just made it in the
426.
first year of the modern era.
Well, and you look at the number of wins by starting pitcher in a single season. Jack Chesbro had 41 wins in a season. Now, what
How
happened?
many complete games? That's what I want to
It
know.
was probably
39.
most of them. Probably most of them. You know, the last time a major league pitcher broke 30 wins was also the last time a major league pitcher had a season ERA of in the low ones, which is in 1968, which was the year of the pitcher. And now Bob Gibson had an ERA of 1.16. And Denny McLain won, I believe, 31 or 32 games that year.
31 games.
After that season, they
changed and
lowered
made
the
an
mound
adjustment.
by 6 inches because they felt the pitchers had an unfair advantage. So
Wow.
those two prompted changes to be made in baseball. Now, on some other records, and Babe Ruth's name seems to be all over the record book because he set
Really?
most of the records, with the exception of the home run record, which was set by Hammer and Hank Aaron at 755 home runs. But
Wait a second. You're admitting with the asterisk from my era, some gentlemen that may have been doing some illegal activities, but they definitely hit some home runs still.
you know what?
Clear. It's clear to me.
No.
It's all clear.
Come on, baseball writer.
I'm not omitting anybody. But
all
the
clear.
single season slugging percentage record was set by Babe Ruth at 847, and it was broken by that nameless person. Bases on balls in a single season was set by Babe Ruth at 170 walks in a season. It was broken also by that bum. The career runs were set by Ty Cobb at 2,246. It was broken by Ricky Henderson 73 years later.
Wow. That's a good record.
On base percentage was broken by that bum, but it was originally set by Ted Williams at 553. And the number of hits in a season, the record was set in 1920 by George Sisler. It was broken.
Sister,
I know.
I was gonna say,
It was
wasn't he a
broken
good
by
fella?
No, he was a Roman guy. He was back in the Roman era.
It was broken by
Paulie
Ichiro
Cicero.
Suzuki, and he set the record in 2004 with 259 hits in a season. And if there's any batter in the major leagues right now that I think has an outside chance, and it depends on whether he stays healthy or not, of busting 3,000 hits again, it would be Suzuki. He's averaged over 200 hits a season in the 11 or 12 years that he's been in the majors. But 2 years ago today, one of the greatest Yankees to ever play, and Big Mike B, this is for you. Derek Jeter got his 3,000th hit 2 years ago today, and he did it by hitting a home run, and he also happened to go 5 for 5
Yeah,
that day.
remember that.
Just he needed one hit to break the record, and he went 5 for 5. Pretty amazing statistic. But
Did you see that, not to interrupt it, the Minnesota Twins
done.
gave Mariano Rivera, the closer for the Yankees, they gave him a rocking chair made out of broken bats? Because I guess he's
I didn't
broken
see
so
that.
many bats with his
Really?
pitches. Yeah, he's in his retirement run, I guess. And
Yeah.
Yeah,
they
so
paid
he
a
is.
tribute
Last-
to him.
He
Yeah.
didn't get hurt last year. Was his last year, but he got hurt. So this
We
is.
got to
his
give it a
last
little
year.
hand. That trivia, that was good. That was good,
It
Chip.
is.
That was some good stuff, man.
yeah, but yes, Hank Aaron is the home run king, certified, 755.
Again, these are opinions of the guys here on board. We disagree with, I forget the commissioner of baseball right now because
Is he
there's
alive?
many disputes there.
Yeah, so does the
Bowie
rest of
Kuhn,
baseball.
is he still the commissioner?
No, Bowie's not there.
Bud Selig?
Yeah.
Where's Bart Giamatti when you needed him? You know,
Whoa.
he had the guts and the fortitude to ban Pete
Pete
Rose
Rose.
for life. So right up there with Kennesaw Mountain Landis. He's my
Oh,
vote
don't get
for
me
the
started
best.
on Landis because then I'll start talking about
Armstrong.
Shoeless Joe,
And Pete Rose is my favorite all-time player.
Charlie Hustle. No doubt. Well, we covered even more trivia there.
He bet the house a couple times.
We'll get to that a little later, maybe. I'm not betting a house this year. It depends on the season. Hey, now we go to another segment that we have boxing we like to talk about. And we got some sad news on that. I'm not going to let the audition get ruined because Little Z has to talk about August 3rd was canceled. So, you know, we talked a little bit about it last night. I know we're disappointed because, you know, we were so hopeful
Very
with that.
disappointed.
Great venue that would have been in the Strip District and everything else. So
For all the viewers at home, I tried at worst case scenario to have myself headline and fight just to get these gentlemen back down there, but it came to no avail. Nobody would fight me.
Well, we were involved in a reality TV show, White Collar Boxing, so we could have Little Z boxing if you want to challenge him.
He'd have killed them
Oh,
guys.
they wouldn't let me.
Would've killed
They
them.
wouldn't let me. They wouldn't let me do it.
Well, what we have to do is for next year when it gets, you know,
He'd have
re-upped
been
again.
Boom Boom Mancini.
How about you get a guy from your crew, from that Munhall Homestead, Upper St. Homestead crew, one of your guys. I know there got to be a couple big guys like you, buddy.
There's guys bigger than me.
No
When I was
way.
in high school, I was little. There was guys way
You
bigger.
are Little Z.
Yeah, well,
That's where I pulled
by
it out of the
some standards-
archives.
We had some good. We had some good teams that still. Contrary to Smoking Jim's assessments, we did win a lot of things in the '90s and the 2000s. 2002,
Well,
we
again,
were the Whippeal
a lot
basketball
of
champions.
sports is opinions, but when you have the records, just say it
And
loud.
then we
say
go to
it
Clareton.
loud there.
We go to
ahead.
Clareton. I mean, we got a lot of hardware in Clareton, the Bears. And I'm a booster in Clareton, so I love the Clareton Bears. We do nothing but win
Is
in
that
Clareton.
Brenner
So.
Contracting?
That's-
You're everywhere. I
yeah.
even heard you're. This is not about boxing, but I heard you're even a sponsor at the BMX track in South Park.
Yeah, I got a couple BMX riders that on the team that race. So we got our.
He'll
hands
have
in
his
a little
own
bit of
team. He got a boxing crew. He's
We got
working on
BMX.
that. BMX.
We got plumbing in the stranglehold, so we got a lot of things going on in the city.
If you have a leak, see Little Z.
Hey, you know, on a different note, you know, we're talking about, you know, the high school championships won by Clareton and Steel Valley, and of course, you know,
We weren't talking
Jim's.
about that.
Yeah, well,
We were listening about
yeah,
that.
Jim was just sitting there laughing. But, you know,
I was
just-
listening, folks,
Just something to make a little note of, and this is kind of a sad occurrence. If, you know, two sports have been dropped by a local high school. Stowe Rocks High
Yeah.
School dropped their baseball program and their softball program, and that really is a shame. And it's because of budgetary cuts. But the bigger shame about the whole thing, besides losing to two athletic teams, is the number of teachers that got laid off because of the state budgetary cuts in education funding. You know, and it's just something that, you know.
It's a reality today.
I hate to keep kicking a dead horse though, but it's still we have more Super Bowl champions than Gateway. So until Gateway has more Super Bowl champions, then we still got
how
more.
do we
wins.
get back to
No,
Gateway?
but that is true because Adam Walker got a Super Bowl ring with the San Francisco 49ers. And out of the 53-man roster,
Yeah.
he was number 53.
Hey, even the guys on the practice squad get a ring, so it doesn't matter, man. Hey,
He had the confetti ready.
Rudy, it can happen.
But I will tell you though, and you know, and I'm coming to Jim's defense here, but you know, the Gateway Gators had one of the greatest football coaches in Western Pennsylvania history,
Terry Smith.
Pete Anamarino.
well, that was
he was
before my time.
legendary. I mean, this guy
And named the
wrote the
stadium
record
after
books.
him.
He wrote.
Hey,
the
hold on
record
a
book.
second. This just came in. Some of the all-time greatest Whippeal coaches are from Still Valley right now. Bill Churpak and the TJ Jaguars.
What
Still
voices
Valley.
is he hearing? It just comes
Woody
in,
High, Novak, Still Valley guy, Munhall guy. So let's not forget, Still Valley
I
has a
couldn't
lot
wait
to
to get
say.
out of there.
He's put a lot of guys in the league. Shout out to Coach Novak, Coach Ingles over at Woody High.
And I thought I dropped names. You're doing a pretty good job on this audition here.
And the coach for West Mifflin used to coach West Mifflin. Start with a B.
Brazo.
Yeah, Brazo.
Yeah,
West
Coach
Mifflin.
Brazo. His brother was a good friend of mine.
Yeah,
We
they-
might have to
lot.
separate you
Yeah,
two.
they all
Chip,
got
you
out
might
of
have to
But the
move
one
over
thing
there
with
these
about
two.
Chip, I'm sad
They're
about
sparring over there.
You know, I don't care about the softball, but I'm sad about Stowe Rocks baseball because Stowe Rocks baseball was a tradition. Adam DeMichael was a great baseball player. He actually went professional baseball before he went football. Him and Neil Walker were just exceptional high school baseball players. But I'm not that sad about the teachers in Stowe Rocks because if you look at the academics every year, the football team, half of them are academic casualties by game 5. They're number 1 in the state, and by game 5, they're all, got academic difficulties. So they got to get a little better
And they're in single
teaching.
A too.
Well,
so
what they're talking about doing is making some of these sports where if the school wants to keep the sports, that the parents are going to have to foot the bill for their kids. When instead of having the
Well, there's
schools
so much
provide the
fundraising
equipment.
going on now.
Speaking of a great program that's no longer exists, I was in Duquesne today doing some work, and the Duquesne Dukes, man, they had a good program, basketball and football.
Rivalries with Clairton. Clairton might not have all those championships if Duquesne was still around, and nobody ever was academically ineligible at Duquesne. Way to give them the grades, teach. That's your job as a teacher. That's your job as a teacher.
Really?
Yeah, that's your
We'll
job as a
have
teacher.
another show.
Pass those
about
guys
this
along.
Educational process.
That's how you get an Aaron Hernandez, folks. Pass those guys along. Pass those guys
Hey,
along.
on a happier note, I'm going to go touch on some Penguins here. We got Scuderi just got signed. They signed a lot of Scuderi.
Who'd he sign with?
Rod
Boston?
No, Rod Scuderi's back with the Penguins. He's
Oh,
signed
really?
That's why we're
Wow.
announcing
four
here for
year
you
four-year
guys.
contract.
They didn't give him a 4-year
million.
4 years ago, and he ended up winning another Stanley Cup with
With
LA.
the Kings.
Well, when he left before, and one of the things I was listening to an interview with him today, and one of the things he said was that Ray Shero was very upfront and very professional with him, and basically they didn't have the money under the cap to be able to give him another year, and they just told him. And they told him, look, we'd love to be able to keep you, but, the financial aspects of it are not going to allow us to do it. And, he's back in the fold. I think one of the things that's really going to hurt the Penguins next year, Matt Cook signed with the Minnesota Wild. And Matt Cook, for all of his bad reputation and everything, really changed the way he played the game. And he was a big difference maker for the Penguins, and he's going to be missed next year.
You guys are starting to show your colors. Nobody talked about the NHL draft where Popeye Jones' son was the 7th guy picked, the highest ever a black hockey
There
player
was two.
drafted.
There was 2 in
What
that
two?
first round.
Hey,
You had 2 in the first
Can I
round.
interrupt you? I don't really watch the drafts a lot. And the NFL draft, with all that man-hugging going on,
Oh, I hate that.
I really don't like watching it anymore. I'll
that.
listen or see an update on who got
For the
drafted.
Roger
record-
Goodell hug Aaron Hernandez when he got
yeah,
drafted.
we ought to see
It's a battle. It's a battle between Mel Kiper and Al Levine, the talking machine, for best hair. As I knew it was going to storm outside.
That's it.
Whoa.
Well, I want to know something, though.
Zazu, Marianne,
Backup
Tuesdays. Wow, was that the power? Devin, what'd you do in the control room, or is that just the light went bad?
It's
I think
funny.
it was a
Mel
storm.
Kiper is considered the draft guru, right? And they all put out their mock drafts on who they feel each team is going to take, and I think they're pretty smart in extending Letang and Malkin because they're playing under their previous contracts for this coming year. Their extensions don't go into effect until the following year,
And that was the
and
hiccup
that's
on
when
the
that's
Letang
when the
deal,
cap goes
that
up.
Letang wanted to make sure that he got that before the trade clause, that he didn't get traded on that previous contract, and it kicked in on the new deal. That
And
was
that's
the
the
hiccup.
art of negotiating, folks. We talk about it all the time, that some of what you hear in the media, don't even believe it. We'll give you our opinions of how to negotiate these contracts, because we're all bottom line guys. If you want to stay, they got to show you the green, and how you get that green, that's
You
what
talk
it's
to
all
Levine.
about.
Gotta stay
That's it,
mean.
baby. Oh, you can't always be mean. We'll talk about some negotiating off air here.
Pirates are still in the top of the first rain tonight.
They won't lose tonight, Smoking Jim.
Oh, shucks.
And they won't win.
They aren't going to lose. That's what I care. As long as you hold one back, they can average 10 wins a month. I'm telling you. Maybe more. They already averaged 17 a month.
They're gonna be fine. They're gonna be fine, and I'm gonna sit there at PNC Park and watch playoff baseball this October.
Hold it, that dollar. No, you're not coming out yet.
I'm already telling
You're
you
not
it's
coming
gonna
out,
happen.
dollar.
It's not about if, it's when.
I may not read the Guinness Book of World Record, but I'll read the chapter on the Pirates.
Whoa.
Hopefully
whoa.
it's not 21.
Right,
but,
yeah, because he's going to start a new chapter this year. See?
I like
You know
that.
what I'm saying? New chapter, consecutive winning seasons.
I like that.
See that?
Well, they got to at least get the first one. You guys corrected me about telling how many games. Wait a second. We need one season.
Yeah, that's
Then
all
we
right.
can get consecutive. You taught me not to mention any numbers except like one. You guys crushed me
all good.
because I'm a fan.
All I know is that I'm going to enjoy a great summer of baseball here in Pittsburgh. It's been a long time. I'm going to watch the Pirates break 2 million in paid attendance again this year, 2 years in a row. And that's a testament to the Pittsburgh Pirate fans, because you think about it. Here's a team that lost 20 consecutive years, and they drove 2.2 million fans last year through the turnstiles. You know, I mean, that just shows you where our heart is.
It's because of the beauty of the ballpark and the tranquility of the city, not because of the
No.
quality.
I got to disagree with all you guys. It's the fireworks. When you have the sky blast
You got
almost every...
Blues Traveler and Cool and the Gang and
I'm
Casey and
gonna
the
tell you
Sunshine
what.
Band.
And
Let-
Bobbleheads.
Yeah, a lot of
Let me
bobbleheads.
make one thing clear. Blues Traveler emptied that stadium faster than a fire drill.
Really?
Oh, man. They started playing a song, and about 45 minutes into the song, my wife's like, we're leaving. I said, I bet you we make it across the bridge before they finish the song. No, they weren't very good. And it would have made a lot more sense if they would have played like a song that somebody had heard before.
Wow.
Yeah, that always does good when you play something that everybody knows.
And we also do music critique also, folks. So we'll break down songs for you. We break down plays. We break down the players we like and don't like.
But one thing we are going to be doing this weekend, we're going to be down at PNC Park Friday and Saturday night booing David Wright for not electing Pedro Alvarez into the home run hitting contest. And I have one other question that I'd like answered.
Okay.
Why is Starling Marte not on the All-Star team?
Here's why. We have 4 Pirates
That's
that are on
crazy.
the All-Star team.
They should be there.
First time in 30 plus years. They're not going to give a couple extra Pirates unless 3 or 4 guys get hurt.
telling
We've
you
had
what.
20 straight losing seasons. I'd be happy to have 4 guys, 1 guy. We used to just have 1 guy on the All-Star
this
team.
is the third year
and
in
the
a row that
commissioner
we've
had to
had
put him
one.
on the team.
This is the third year in a row we've had multiple men on the All-Star
Well, we
team.
got 4 this year.
We got
so
4.
we should be
The only
happy
2
for
teams
that.
that have more are the Detroit Tigers and the St. Louis Cardinals.
But like I say, we'll see once the Steelers get to Latrobe if the Pirates are still relevant.
You know what? I tell you, talking about a team that's going to prove to me that it's going to be relevant. That's the Pittsburgh Steelers. There is nothing.
Well, we
like-
got some
Hey, we
Steelers
just got a picture from Lamar Woodley.
There's
He's
nothing
on the
but
Brooklyn
question
Bridge.
marks.
jumping. Is he going to jump?
I don't think he can jump. It looks like he's kind of chicken wired in.
Wow.
And he wanted to
But I'm
jump.
telling you what,
He's in a cage.
There are more question marks with the Steelers this year than there are,
I'll give a
facts.
little tease. 11-5 with an easy schedule. I don't care about smoke and mirrors. People got to stay healthy. We'll argue about that another day. We're winding down to the last 4 minutes. I always like to do closing remarks. Little mini Z. If you want to, Big Z, you can talk.
See?
Mini me Z hasn't got to say anything.
Well, I want to thank Devin and Aaron and Chris on the camera, Al, Chip, and Smoking Jim, Mr. Fiction, in fact, for having me back on the show. I want to give a shout out to PelgarLaw.com, my lawyer watching at home in Munhall. If you want the green, you better go see Levine and then see my lawyer and keep your ass out of jail.
Whoa.
Mr. Hernandez.
Whoa, no more Hernandez. Smoking Jim, what's going on? What do you got going on? You always got something there,
Yeah,
buddy.
thanks. I'll just be real quick. And I'm a big black and gold fan. Loves the
What'd you say?
Pittsburgh. Loves the Pittsburgh Pirates. Loves the Pittsburgh Pirates. Chloe Bonnet. But I just cannot see the Pittsburgh Pirates winning, averaging 10 games a month. In professional baseball, first half of the year is usually exhibition ball. The second half of the year, the teams start to peak. The better teams start playing better. And that's when I talk about the speed of the game. I use it as a metaphor. I don't think the Pirates definitely won't win 10 games in July. So you're looking at August and September to try to combine about 23, 24, 25 wins. I don't see that happening. The collapse will happen again. Sorry, Chip.
Yeah, it's all good, Jim.
If you like this type of conversation, you want to talk to Smoking Jim, not off air, because there's a lot of communities he can't visit. Call in.
I got a
831-3304. You can talk to him here. I won't give up his cell phone number ever. I found out there's some haters of Smoking Jim. I thought it's all in fun. And that metaphor, I'm not going to explain it. Watch the show from last night. You got to check that out. It's on the Pittsburgh Sports Line on
Anything like a
Facebook.
Meta 5?
We're not going
Meta World Peace.
All right, you already tipped off some of what you're doing this weekend, but
Yeah,
Chip, what else
I'm
is
going to be
going
down
on?
at PNC Park watching the Pirates get at least 2 of those 10 wins that Jim says that they're not going to get this month. But what's on my mind is yesterday an announcement came out of Jimmy Haslam, and if anybody doesn't know who Jimmy Haslam is, he was a former minority owner of the Steelers until he wanted to step up and take over ownership of the Cleveland Browns, and he sold his interest in the Steelers. But he came out and made a statement yesterday that just made me scratch my head. And he said, under no circumstances do I have any intention of selling this team. And I'm thinking, well, why why would you come out and say this? Well, maybe it's because he's got criminal an investigation going on with him and financial investigation. And I wonder what kind of dirt is getting ready to come to the surface about him that may cause the commissioner of football. Oh, wait. What commissioner of football?
Hey, there's a commissioner of football.
Yeah, well, where has he been? Because if you got the Aaron Hernandez thing, and he's mysteriously silent about that, and then you go all the way down to Dallas, Texas, and you got that idiot Josh Brent murdered one of his teammates drinking and driving. Then he tests positive, and he just got released from jail. And the Cowboys still have him on their roster. How is that? How can that be? I don't understand why. The commissioner doesn't.
Not innocent
He
until
suspended
proven
Ben
guilty in this
Roethlisberger,
country?
and he was never even charged with a crime.
Yeah, but Ben Roethlisberger's crimes were more public,
But he was never.
He was doing a lot of stuff in a lot of different
I
I
bathrooms.
appreciate the
charged with a
passion.
crime.
I love the passion. That's why we're on the show here. The audition was going pretty well, but we're running out of a little bit of time here. I want to thank everybody for watching the show, getting a lot of great feedback all through the area. We'll be out in different neighborhoods. We're going to try to get that unicycle event with Devin Shea out there. He's going to take me in the Camaro straight out there to see it. So thanks
Mustang.
again.
It's a Mustang.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, I don't know cars.
Devin, he doesn't know any better.
Hey, that's why we're here. Hey, thanks a lot for everything. Thanks to Dave Cable, too, for putting everything up as quick as he does and spreading the word about BPTV. Thanks, folks. See you next Monday. Sips.
It's the return of the St. Valentine Parish Summer Festival, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, August 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. It's back and it's bigger and better than ever. We will have the best hot homemade dinners in our air-conditioned Frawley Hall, priced at only $8 per person. They'll be served nightly from 4 until 7 p.m. If you have a sweet tooth, we'll also have a booth packed with fried dough, funnel cake, Rita's Italian ice, and homemade lemonade. There'll be plenty of games and prizes for both kids and grown-ups to enjoy. And there'll be great entertainment as well, featuring Ray J and the Carousels, the Mahajibi Blues Band, and Johnny Angel and the Halos. So circle your calendars for the St. Valentine's Summer Festival. Bring your friends and relatives for 3 consecutive nights of family entertainment and great food. That's the St. Valentine's Summer Festival, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, August 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. See you there.